So I just finished playing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and I have to say, I haven't been this confused since the first time I found what my parents had hidden at the back of their bedroom cupboard. Now, without further ado, this is why I enjoyed playing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, but in retrospect, I fucking hate it. Part 1, Story. It's a hard thing to put into words how I feel about this game. On one hand, it has single-handedly provided me with one of the best atmospheric gaming experiences I've experienced since Dead Space 1. But on the other hand, I found myself constantly sighing and checking my watch to see how much time I had left until I could kill myself. It was an incredibly odd experience, and I have never come across anything quite like this before. The story in Senua, as I'm now going to call it, because Hellblade hasn't got anything to do with anything and it doesn't sacrifice anything but my time, is a game which follows a Celtish warrior named, you guessed it, Senua, as she traverses through the Norse mythological landscape of Hell to retrieve the soul of her lover Dillion, and oh boy does she never shut the fuck up about it. The story element of this game is one of the biggest problems I had while playing. Fallout 4, another disappointing game for another video, suffered from a similar issue. Fallout 4 started its story telling us to care about something, and Senua does exactly the same. Not only is it annoying as hell, it's insulting to the audience's intelligence, and shows nothing but laziness on the part of the writers. We should be made to care. Throughout the story, we should be shown why Senua is going to such lengths to save Dillion. It's a shame, because the premise of Senua is actually really good. Celtish psychic warrior descending into the Viking mythological depiction of Hell to save the soul of her lover? I'm fucking sold! So it sucks that I had no reason to care about Senua or Dillion's fate, and it sucks that the game never gave me one. The entire relationship between the two of them boils down to, he was the first boy who was nice to me even though I'm different. And for a game that people are praising so goddamn highly, it's just not good enough. Another point against the writing in this game is Senua herself. In my other videos, I have briefly mentioned that certain games have blank slate characters, and for certain games, that's more than enough. But in a game like Senua, there has to be more. And sadly, for a main character, Senua just didn't have much character. Her character genetic makeup is 50% screaming and crying, 40% pining after Dillion, and 10% monologuing to the audience. If the story revolves around the solving of deep emotional trauma for characters, then we, as the audience, have to actually care about the trauma that these characters are going through, and in this case I didn't. Another issue I had with the game has to do with how it was advertised. Now I know it's not strictly something to do with the story of the game, but they used it as such a massive selling point that I feel obligated to mention it here. I have read reviews and talked with people about this game, and 90% of them have said how great this game is simply because of the message it spreads about mental health and the struggles people who suffer from psychosis go through. And while I agree that it is an important message to spread, I don't think it's a good enough reason to accept the level of mediocrity that Senua's story coasts along with. If anything, it just reinforces the fact that the writers weren't good enough to make it work and that they needed the crutch of intrigue to support them. The story dragged on for way longer than necessary, and after the dust settles on the credits roll, it just wasn't worth it. Part 2, Gameplay. Senua is a game that isn't quite sure what it is. It's a mishmash combination of puzzle game and hack and slash, with quite a bit too much emphasis on puzzle solving and not enough hacking and slashing. I know a few people disagree with me on this one, but in my opinion, I think the combat in this game was actually pretty good. It's fluid, it's smooth, and you feel like a total fucking badass when you parry a Northman axe, send it flying back to him, only to follow through with a quick knee to the jaw and a stab to the gut. It was fun, it was exhilarating, and I wanted there to be more. The only glaring problem with the combat is that there just isn't enough of it. And to get to it, you have to solve the same fucking puzzle every goddamn time. The formula goes puzzle, 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 combat, puzzle, 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 combat. Rinse, change boss, repeat. Sure, it was cool having to unlock a door by finding hidden Nordic runes in the environment, but that cool factor runs out really damn quick after the first 3 times, and it seems nobody let Ninja Theory know. Apart from that, there's not much meat to this game. It feels like a 4-hour game time padded to a length of 10 through repetitive puzzles and drawn out level design. To be fair and honest though, there were some outstanding parts of the game that I actually really enjoyed. The level with Fenrir chasing you through the dark actually had me on the edge of my seat. You know that feeling you used to get when you were a kid? The one where you turn the light off in your bedroom and you have to run back to your bed because you know the devil's right behind you and he's going to put something somewhere that doesn't belong? I got that feeling while playing this level. I just wish that the game had more levels like this, and it just didn't. Part 3, Graphics and Sound Design. The sound in this game is actually really good. Senua's schizophrenia manifests in a group of voices in her head, constantly harassing, goading, helping, and taunting her. They recorded this using a technique called binaural audio. Basically what this means is they put 2 microphones down next to each other, recording them at the same time to simulate a 3-dimensional sound space. The effect is fucking wild, as it makes the sound of the voices seem like they are all around you, whispering warnings of death and taunts of insecurities into your ear. It's genuinely disturbing and very well done.
What if this is pointless? What if you're wrong? What if this is nothing to do with the sword? What if we're wrong? The sword will never be yours. What if this is the end? It's just a trick.
Aside from that though, there isn't anything else that really stands out about this game. Ah yeah, Except this fucking shit. Look at that. Move over, Dante's Inferno. There's a new fucked up hellscape in town. Jeez. This is the one part of the game where my breath was actually taken away. When this level started, I was mind blown. If the person who designed this level isn't on a no flying list somewhere, someone's not doing their job properly. I actually had to stop for a few minutes and just take it in and appreciate how it was designed. It was very well done. The music was good but forgettable, and the graphics aren't really anything revolutionary. Senua looked realistic enough for mocap animation, but they ruined it by putting her next to live-action video of actors playing characters, which leads me perfectly into my next point. I don't care what it is, I don't care who does it or how well it's done, I will always hate live-action footage next to in-game character models. I think it looks fucking stupid. The conflicting graphical elements don't add anything to the story, and it seems to be there for no other reason than this is a Ninja Theory game. Conclusion. This game's alright, but that's it. It's definitely worth picking up on sale if you spot it, but I feel cheated out of my money having paid a full $30 for it. There just isn't enough here to justify the expense. Sure, the environments were rich and the Norse lore is really interesting, but the lackluster story and the repetitive gameplay are things I won't remember fondly. And the more I think about it, the more disappointed I am. The potential for something amazing here was lost, and it's a shame. As it stands now, I don't recommend that you buy this full price.